Philadelphia News, team of my heart.
The Philadelphia 76ers are staring at the perfect solution to their problems, and they can't do a damn thing about it. This is huge. A three-time All-Star who won a championship just a few years ago is about to hit the buyout market, and on paper, he fixes everything wrong with this Sixers team right now. Bench scoring? Check. Three-point shooting? Check. Playoff experience? Check. Championship pedigree? Check. But here's the thing, and this is what makes Sixers fans want to absolutely lose their minds right now. They literally cannot sign him. Not because they don't want to, not because he doesn't fit, but because of one brutally simple reason that nobody seems to be talking about. And if you're a Philly fan watching this, you already know where this is going. And yeah, it hurts. So let's talk about what this veteran brings to the table first, because you need to understand just how perfect this fit would be if it could actually happen. This guy is 34 years old, yes, but when healthy, he's still a legitimate scorer who can create his own shot, knock down threes at a high clip, and most importantly, he knows what it takes to win when the lights are brightest. He's been there. He hit clutch shots in the finals. He's played next to a generational talent and understood his role perfectly. Now imagine him next to Joel Embiid when Embiid finally gets healthy. Imagine him spacing the floor for Tyrese Maxey. Imagine him coming off the bench and giving you 15 to 18 points a night with that smooth mid-range game and that championship composure. Sounds pretty damn good, right? Like exactly what the Sixers need right now? But hold on, because we need to address the elephant in the room before we get too excited. Is this for real? Because if we've learned anything over the last few years, it's that veteran stars on the buyout market come with massive question marks, the biggest one being health. This player has been dealing with injuries for the better part of 3 seasons now. Knee problems, ankle issues, the kind of stuff that doesn't just go away when you turn 35. And look, the Sixers already have 2 max contract guys who can't stay on the floor. Joel Embiid played 19 games last year. 19! Paul George just got here and immediately got hurt again, and now there's no timetable for his return either. So you're telling me the answer is to add another injury-prone veteran to this mix? That would be like investing everything you have in a company that's already filing for bankruptcy. You're just throwing good money after bad at that point. But let's say for a second that the health concerns don't scare you off. Let's say you believe this player can give you quality minutes in a playoff run. Let's say you think the upside is worth the risk. Here's where the real problem comes in, and it's so simple it's almost laughable. The Philadelphia 76ers currently have 15 players on standard NBA contracts and 3 more on two-way deals. Do the math? That's 18 bodies. The roster is completely full. There is no room, none, zero. The NBA doesn't just let you add guys because you feel like it. You can't go over the limit. So unless Daryl Morey is willing to cut someone from the active roster right now, this move is dead in the water before it even starts. And who exactly are you cutting? Dominic Barlow, who's been solid in limited minutes? Adeem Bona, your future young big, one of the veterans who actually has been available and contributing. Every single player on that 15-man roster is there for a reason, and none of them are easy cuts at this point in the season. Now you might be thinking, okay, well then make a trade. Move somebody out, clear the space, and bring this guy in. And look, if anyone could pull off some creative roster wizardry, it's Daryl Morey. The man lives for this stuff. He's made a career out of finding loopholes and engineering deals that nobody else saw coming. But here's the reality check. What team is going to take on a contract from Philly right now just to help them out? What are the Sixers giving up in return that doesn't make them worse? And most importantly, do you really want to disrupt the chemistry of a team that's finally starting to figure things out just to add a 34-year-old with bad knees? That's a massive gamble, and the new CBA makes these kinds of moves even harder. The financial restrictions are real. The luxury tax penalties are brutal. The Sixers are already backed into a corner with the Embiid and George contracts. They literally cannot afford to make a mistake here. And speaking of mistakes, let's talk about the historical context, because this exact scenario has played out before and it rarely ends well. Remember the Brooklyn Nets in 2013? They went all in on aging stars, thought they were building a championship contender, and it blew up in their faces so badly that they're still recovering over a decade later. Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett look great on paper, just like this potential signing looks great on paper. But their best years were already behind them, and the Nets mortgaged their entire future for a team that flamed out in the second round. Or what about the Washington Wizards? They had a feisty young core, paid John Wall and Bradley Beal huge money, and then watched both of their careers implode due to injuries. Wall became one of the worst contracts in basketball. Beal could never carry the load, and the Wizards became irrelevant for years. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly the risk profile we're talking about here with this potential move. But here's where it gets interesting, and I know this sounds crazy, but what if there's actually a way to make this work? What if Daryl Morey, being the chess master that he is, has already been working on a 3-team deal that nobody knows about? What if there's a team out there willing to take on one of Philly's rotation guys in exchange for a future second-round pick, just to clear the roster spot? What if the Sixers decide that the upside of adding a championship-level scorer is worth cutting loose someone like Trendon Watford or Tyrese Martin, guys who aren't really in the rotation anyway? Because here's the thing, if this player hits the buyout market and he's healthy, and I mean actually healthy, then every contender in the league is going to be calling his agent. The Lakers will be interested. The Celtics might kick the tires. The Nuggets could use another wing. So if the Sixers want him, they need to act fast and they need to be creative. Let's put this in perspective for a second. The Sixers are currently struggling with the third worst bench scoring in the entire NBA. This second unit is absolutely torched every single night. When Embiid or Maxey sit, the offense grinds to a complete halt. They're also in the bottom half of the league in three-point shooting, which is insane when you consider how important spacing is in today's game. This potential signing fixes both of those problems immediately. He's a career shooter who can get hot in a hurry, and he's one of the best bench scorers in playoff basketball over the last decade. The fit is perfect. The need is desperate. The player is available, and yet they can't do it. That's the cruel irony of this entire situation. It's like being starving and having a 5-star meal sitting right in front of you, but your hands are tied behind your back. And that brings us to the bigger question that nobody's really asking. Why are the Sixers in this position in the first place? Why is the roster so full that they can't even add a veteran free agent? Part of it is bad luck with injuries. Part of it is the construction of the roster itself. They've got a lot of young guys who were drafted or signed to develop, and you can't just cut those guys without consequences. Part of it is the financial restrictions of the new CBA that make these kinds of mid-season adjustments way harder than they used to be. But honestly, a big part of it is that the front office bet everything on Embiid and George staying healthy, and that bet has not paid off at all. So now they're stuck watching potential solutions walk past them while they stand there with their hands in their pockets. So yes, the Sixers might be the saddest team in the NBA right now. 2 max players who can't play, a roster that's full but somehow not good enough, a playoff spot that's slipping away game by game, and now a perfect veteran solution that they literally cannot acquire. But you know what? If those 2 stars ever get healthy, if Maxey keeps developing into a true number 1 option, if guys like VJ Edgecombe and Adam Bona exceed expectations, then maybe this team doesn't need a buyout savior after all. Maybe they're actually deeper than people think. Maybe the answer is already on the roster and we just haven't seen it yet because everyone's been hurt. But that's a big maybe. And right now, Sixers fans aren't in the mood for maybes. They want wins. They want health. They want hope. And this player, this 3-time All-Star champion who's about to be available for basically nothing, represents all of that. Except they can't have him. So drop a comment below and tell me, would you cut someone from the current roster to make room? Would you push Daryl Morey to get creative with a trade? Or do you think the Sixers should just stand pat and hope for health? Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're covering every single move the Sixers make this season. And smash that like button if you think this roster situation is absolutely insane. By the way, the player we've been talking about this whole time is Chris Middleton. And yeah, the fit would have been perfect.